Hey there, Orlando with another contemplation of the jinkies that are transiting us. I'm recording this video in the last moments of the 54th jinky and the 53rd jinky. We're going to enter into another two jinkies in the positions of the sun and the earth very soon, like minutes from now when I'm recording. So I want to share to you, as I did in the last months, uh, how I felt these two jinkies and what messages came through me by them, metaphorically, of course. So we have the 54th jinki with the greed, aspiration, and ascension in the position of the sun, and the 53rd jinki with the superabundance, expansion, and immaturity on the position of the earth. So let's start with mentality, because mentality comes from how we perceive things. So the first thing in the contemplation, the first thing that arose was that there is not there there isn't a poor man and there isn't a rich man. It's just a mentality of poor and rich. So in the next period, we may redefine what being rich means, because right now, rich means excess. And as we know, excess has a cost to it. So if we eat something in excess, we pay the cost, we pay the price, and we feel sick. So this is like with material stuff. If we have in excess, we'll surely pay the price for that. So humankind is realizing, but is realizing step by step that possessions doesn't make them rich or poor, but their mentality. Because let's see advertising. Yeah, advertising in this period is very aggressive, yeah, and it's pushing us to feel rich, yeah, to buy things so we can feel rich. But you've seen there is a trap right there. You can't, yeah, you can't satisfy yourself by buying things that for this purpose. Yes, if we buy things, we can buy them to get on with our passion, or to help us in our work, to invest in something. So this really produce fulfillment in us, but not buying things to I know, to feel something. Yeah, so this is greed. Yeah, the greed is never ending. We can't. It's like Santa's bag. Yeah, it's infinite. When we try to quench our thirst by drinking more from the greed, from greed, we can't quench our thirst. We will be thirsty. So greed, the shadow of the 54th jinki, is ever present in this period. We seen it everywhere. We can see greed in relationships. We can see greed in friendships. We can see greed in personal and intimate relationships. um, but it's normal. Yeah, it's normal to see greed. Yeah, I'm going to make a U-turn right now with this contemplation. Greed is normal. Yeah, it's normal uh, for our development, our level of development as a species, because we need greed. Yeah, we can't without the shadows. The shadows are our you know our fuel, or our prime materials, yeah, from where stuff is born. We really need greed. So we can't escape it. So there are people that want that have this image that they are not greedy. Yeah, and they are transmitting messages of judgment of others who are greedy. Yeah, like I am poor, you are rich, you are greedy. But the poor doesn't really realize that the poor person is greedy with his or her poorness. Yeah, it's like a paradox. So we are sometimes greedy with our faults. Yeah, we look in us for our faults, and we are greedy with them. Yeah, so like we're like the Cookie Monster, but we're eating shitty stuff from us. Yeah, like our faults. Yeah, and we hunt these faults of ours, and whenever we see, I knew I was faulty, yeah, I knew I was shitty, so this is greed. The poor person is as greedy as the rich person. Yeah, this is why it's all a matter of mentality, of perception, because otherwise it's only judgment, and from judgment ascension um, is harder. Yeah, so we need greed, because greed is like if we don't have greed, it's like eating a chicken soup without the chicken. Yeah, greed is necessary, and we need it to evolve. uh, but to feel greedy, doesn't mean to act from greed every time. Yeah. But to let greed teach us. Any shadow can teach us about something that we need in life. So greed is a very good teacher. But if we see greed like this, not like our source of fulfillment, because then we enter in the trap of the rich and poor, and we'll feel poor even if we have millions of dollars. Yeah, and we'll long for something that others have. Uh, so, what one of the most important messages that came to the contemplations was not about the 54th or the 53rd, was about the 32nd jinki of preservation and failure, and of course veneration. Because the 54th is linked with the 32nd jinki, and they are linked in a channel. If you know a little bit of human design, you know what this means. Yeah, but it's not really necessary. Just that the 32nd is very close to the 54th. So people are don't want to fail. Yeah. So what they do, they become greedy. Yeah, they become greedy, so they won't fail. Yeah, failure is linked with greed. So there is a pressure that these two jinkis, the 54th and the 32nd jinki, puts on us people. Yeah, it's a tribal one. It's like it's about relationships. Yeah, it's a precious oppression to it's pressure, not oppression. It's pressure to survive in the shadow side, or the pressure to live well in society. So it's like pressure to survive in society and pressure to live well in society with others, because it's tribal. So the pressure to survive sounds like this: life is a jungle where the strongest survives. Do what you have to do to have more, even if you walk on others' corpses. Yeah, because if you don't have, others will. So those others will survive and you won't. So who fails first is eaten first. Yeah. This is the pressure to survive in society, as a shadow. But on a gift side, I feel that the pressure of to live well is like this: in life, you will fall in the trap of the illusions, and so you will fail. Yeah, failure is guaranteed. but don't worry. This is what means to be a human. So this is a part of the experience to be a human. It's normal to fall. So when you fall, you will gain more wisdom and more understanding, because you realize what you need and what you don't need to get your real needs, your authentic needs. Yeah. So this is for me the pressure to live well, to really find, yeah, those authentic needs that keeps you on a beneficial track, on a good track for your life, to have a qualitative life, to have a life of balance, not life of excess or not having, yeah, like poorness. Yeah, because I think in the future we will have to find the balance between poor and rich to really live together in society, because otherwise we'll self-destruct. Yeah, we'll push the self-destruct button and poof, we're gone, because greed will conquer us. Yeah, so the way to live well is about failure. Yeah, so we all fail in this life. We are born from failure. Uh, we are born from failure. You can take the example of the sperm, yeah, that made it, but like 200 million other sperm didn't, failed. So that one can succeed. Uh, so life is about failure. So success comes from failure, from repeated failure. So we see in nature, yeah, this is the natural rhythm. Yeah, animals are evolving, but those that can't adapt are becoming extinct. So the way to live well is about failure, and when we really make peace with failure and really understand that we need iterations, we can't succeed every time from the first try. Yeah, we need time, we need exercise to be better and better and better. But yeah, in basketball you really can't get a 3 point shot every time. Yeah, even if you are Michael Jordan or other good player. Yeah. So when I understand that we have to fail, and we can't be satisfied by being by following greed, uh, and then we realize that we have to come back to ourselves, and we have to put the accent on what I become, not what I have. So as we can see in society, we have this society, we all know this, we have this society where I have is more important than who I am, who I became. Yeah. um, but this is a trap, because you've seen that people that are greedy are never satisfied. They are always angry with themselves and others, and they're always pushing themselves to be better or to have more, or but they don't really realize that. Yeah. um, so we have to take pauses. Yeah, when we feel greedy, I think the best way to handle greed is to take a pause and really connect to our greed, and see what the message is there. And I came up with a system these days. It's not original, of course. I took from here, from here, and I simplified it so I can have a roadmap for my life, so I can evaluate myself better. So it's like there are two areas of life, yeah, and are interlinked. And this is an oversimplified version. Yeah, you can take this and put whatever is important for you. So it's like passion and it's like work. Yeah, so it's passion. It's about the native genius, and to really let the native genius arise in what we do, in what I do, and the other is work. And Work is like the life's work in the activation sequence, because life's work is not really comfortable. Yeah, it's like it's from the way of challenge. Yeah, it's challenging life's work. So it's like what we are here to embody. So if I invest my resources in these two areas of life, yeah, passion and work, I really can have balance. And if you ask yourself where are relationships, there are in both. Yeah, it's like because some people invest all in work but forget about passion, and they live without passion and work without passion. And some people invest only in passion and not in work, and they don't have really anything. Yeah, they become poor. Yeah, so I think the balance in this greed and aspiration and ascension, yeah, this 54th jinki, is about investing our resources, investing our greed in what in the balance of what we love to do and what we are here to do. Yeah, so when we get to a point when we put these two together synergetically, I think this is when our life comes together, and joy is more and more present. Um, yeah, because otherwise, yeah, otherwise we'll be really greedy. Yeah, so um, I feel that people that are greedy. Another thing is people that are greedy. I said this before. It's not a new thing. People that are greedy are afraid of failure, and they don't really want to fail. So they want to find something that can protect them from failure. They want to find a perfect job, a perfect partner, or perfect friends, or something like that. They don't understand that there isn't anything to protect them from failure. Yeah, there is no talisman, there is no crystal, there is no not an incantation or a mantra or a relationship or profession or million of euro or pounds or to do this. We can't be protected from failure. So um, it's very important to really accept this in ourselves, because then we can accept failure in others. Because if we can't accept failure in us, we can't accept failure in other people. So we don't want the people in our presence to fail us and to disappoint us. And it's really tragic, because when maybe that person needs to fail, so that person may have to learn something about him or her. Yeah, so it's really important to fail in relationships. We really have this distorted image of the perfect partner, and if we find someone, we project this image of the perfect partner on that person, and we want that person, and we force that person to be that. And maybe that person has his or her own lessons to find out, and maybe those lessons can include something like cheating, or I don't really like cheating, I don't believe in this, but yeah, we say maybe it involves this. Yeah, and if we really can accept failure in us and in other people, that relationship can only go up, even if things happen, because come on, things happen. Yeah, we fail all the time, our bodies are failing all the time. Yeah, but it's important to look at the whole picture. In our bodies there are failures, and this doctor says this. In our brain there are many failures. Yeah, because our organs, our brain are not perfect. Yeah, but as a whole we live. Yeah, this is if we can have this image of ourselves and of our relationships, that the bigger picture is more important, then the greed can really help us to aspire to have a more connected relationship, to have a more, not a perfect relationship, not a perfect job, but more a connection, to really have passion there, to really work with ourselves. Yeah, we have relationships in our lives to learn. Yeah, to this life's work is also about relationships. Yeah. So I went in on a rant because I really am in a period that I'm starting to make peace with myself and with my own shadows, my own failings, and I start to love myself more and more, and I see perfection in all these failures, yeah, in the way I yeah, because when I ran from falling, I fell and remained there. But if I'm not afraid of falling, I've seen this. Even if I fall, I get right back again. Yeah, it's like inertia. Yeah. Um, okay. Let's see what other things came up. Um, so um, we have to make peace with failure. We have to make peace with our greed. We have to make peace with our own immaturity. Yeah, the 53rd jinki, because we are immature. Yeah, um, we are learning. Yeah, we are rediscovering ourselves in the process. Yeah. So duality is really fun. It's incredible fun because we can't run away from our immaturity and our greed. We can't run away from our shadows, because if we run away from something, we get to the point that we find the thing that we ran away from. Yeah, it's like a circle. Yeah, we come back again. So if we run from one of our wounds, we'll come back and get to that wound again in a period of time. Maybe we're buying some time when we're running, but it isn't really. We're not having a good life when we are running from ourselves, because our shadows, they're in us. Yeah, so if we run from our shadows, we run from us. Yeah, because we need our shadows to really alchemize them, to transcend them, and so the gift arises. Aspiration, this is how aspiration comes, when we really focus our greed in a direction that brings us joy, the real joy, authentic joy, and in the direction of our real needs. Yeah, because we buy things, we buy lots of things, and some of them we throw up because we realize that, hey, I really didn't need that. Yeah, it wasn't my authentic need. And we shouldn't feel bad about this, because we found out. Yeah, we found out that, okay, I don't really need this. uh, this running from shadows is a very you know a very tiring job. Yeah, and other thing about the 54th jinki. Some people are greedy with their own lack of greed. Yeah, contemplate this. Yes, some are greedy with their own lack of greed, and they appear to be not greedy because they put on an image. Yeah, and they cling to this image. Yeah, sometimes the priest will do that. Yeah, or the priests. Yeah, they will try to act like they're perfect, but they aren't. And people are seeing that, hey, that priest isn't perfect. Look what that priest did. Yeah, we have all the scandals with the Catholic Church and other churches. So uh, we're imperfect. Yeah, we can't escape ourselves. Yeah, so we're all in this together. Yeah, we're living in our own imperfections. Yeah, and we really have to understand that there isn't one person that is more perfect than the other. We're all perfect in our imperfection. Yeah. And remember, please, that some people are very greedy with their own faults. They see in themselves with their own imperfections, and these people are hunting them and confirming them that, hey, I'm shitty. So if you are doing this, please take a pause, not stop. Yeah, take a pause and really see your own greediness in this, and you'll get the message. Yeah. Um, so something about immaturity, the 53rd Gene Keys shadow, so we can get to expansion. Immaturity for me is like understand when we understand life from one perspective only. This is the person that lives thinking that life is shitty, or and running away from success, or people that are running away from failure and they hunt success. So this is immaturity, when we don't find the middle ground. So immaturity for me is running away from. It's like saying. Yeah, I know this is important, but I don't want to deal with this. Um, and have you seen that the people that seem the most mature are the most immature of all, like CEOs, or I know people that are really serious and have this robot-like personality, and they are really, really mature. Yeah, and sometimes they have in their lives passions that take this immaturity, and yeah, I've read and seen some videos about like very powerful CEOs that get into BDSM rooms where female dominatrix or male dominatrix just beats them up, so they can feel submission in their life, so they can feel the other side. Yeah, so yeah, it's like this. We can't run away in one extreme. We have to be balanced. We have to own our shadow, and to really let the gift out by, yeah, putting the middle ground from the shadow and the CD. Yeah, so and then the gift arises. So expansion, about the 54th gene key. Expansion is like growing. So expansion is happening even if you want it or not. Even if you are immature, you are growing. We are all growing. The universe is growing. Everything is growing. So we are growing even if when we fail. But I think that we are growing when we fail in this period of time. Yeah, because we're so stubborn. We can of course grow when we succeed, but people are too enthusiastic in that moment, and they don't perceive. Yeah, uh, but most people learn from their failures. So growth is everywhere. We grow every day. We are in every day we are changing. Yeah, the next day you will be different than you were the last day. Yeah. So this is the cosmic joke, that the cosmic joke is that you don't have anything to do because you are growing, but it is important to do something to grow. You don't really have nothing to do, but you must do something. Life is a paradox. We really have these extremes, and to put them into balance to really understand the essence of life. Yeah. So universe is overabundant. Universe is overabundant. All we have to do is to focus our greed into something, and then we come to aspiration. Aspiration for me is like focusing our attention and our resources and our energy in things that really, really matter to us. Yeah, that we feel our authentic needs, and we discover them in time. Yeah, and this is why the 32nd gene key helps us, because we preserve what really matters. Aspiration and preservation are linked, these two gene keys. So what matters will take with us, and will simplify our lives in the process. Yeah, our lives may be very complicated when we're 20 something, but when we're 30 something, they're more simplified. Hopefully 40 something, we're more simplified and more simplified, until we find the essence. So there is no hurry. Yeah, there is no hurry because we receive the overabundance, the superabundance of the universe is ever present. So whatever we need, we get. Yes, if we need a failure to really learn something, we'll get that failure. If we need money, we'll get that money. If we need a relationship, we'll get that relationship. We really have to pay attention to life because it's really simple. Yeah. So ascension, to ascend, means for me to play this game of life until you learn it so profoundly that you renounce it with joy. Yeah, because you go and play another game. Joy is very important for me in this period, in these jinkies right now. Yeah, joy from the 58th jinky that was last week is essential. Yeah, because there is joy and there is ascension. Yeah, joy 58th and then 54th ascension. uh, so please get this to your contemplations if you resonate with it. Yeah, when we feel joy, we transcend. Yeah, we can't transcend from people that kill themselves. I'm sorry to bring this up. This is a thing that is happening, and unfortunately, is happening more and more in civilized countries over that we called civilized countries. But yeah, and they're doing this to escape life. They're running away. This is unfortunately immaturity. Yeah. So joy is the key. Yeah, when we live this life, to live it from joy, because then transcendence comes, and when we feel that level of consciousness, joy is over love and joy is over peace. If we see Dr. Hawkins's map of consciousness that I really like. So joy is like transcending. Yeah, I don't know if peace. No, peace is after joy. I'm sorry. Love is below joy. So there is love, yeah, and there is joy, and then after that is peace. Yeah. So we have to love in our life. We have to learn to love in our life, to transcend, to get to joy. So this is of course an oversimplification, but I really feel this is a roadmap for me. Maybe it will help you also. So joy is the level of consciousness that when life is complete. Yeah. So you don't need anything. So greed becomes for the first time useless. And you've seen when you are joyous, greed is not there. Yeah. So greed took you until that point, and then then there was love from greed. Yeah. But after that, there is joy that transcends all the shadows. Yeah. So please feel this. Yeah. When all the pieces of puzzles are there, you feel joy, and then you feel that you are one, and feel that you are both sides, both extremes in one, and you're part of the whole. So if you want a way out, if you want a shortcut, take this: joy. This is how I'll finish. Yeah, this contemplation. Take joy as a way out. Have a great weekend, and have a great contemplation.